8 años,
¿Eres profesor de inglés y buscas que tus estudiantes dominen el idioma? El programa de especialización en enseñanza del idioma inglés de la Universidad Ricardo Palma, PEI, es para ti. Está dirigido a profesores que buscan mejorar sus perspectivas laborales y liderar en la enseñanza de inglés. El contenido del programa ha sido especialmente diseñado para que domines los procesos de enseñanza-aprendizaje de inglés en la era digital. Como estudiante del PEI, tienes acceso a conferencias a cargo de expositores internacionales del más alto nivel. Recibes el material y plataforma digital de forma gratuita. Lo último en la enseñanza del inglés en el programa más completo del mercado. Gracias a su doble certificación, accedes al examen internacional TOEFL ITP de manera gratuita. Cuentas además con una biblioteca exclusiva y préstamo de libros. El programa te permitirá trabajar con niños, jóvenes y adultos. Vive una experiencia única. Las inscripciones ya están abiertas. Únete al PEI y conviértete en líder en esta fascinante área de la educación.
Thank you, everyone, for watching the video, and thank you, the team at the backstage. I would like at this point to make an important announcement. At the end of today's session, a link will appear in the description. Please make sure you register your attendance. This step is crucial in order to receive not only the certificate issued by Ricardo Palma University and SBS, but also to get a summary of today's presentation kindly and in very detail prepared by Mr. Schwarzemberg. Once you click on the link, make sure to complete the attendance form fully. The certificates will be issued in 10 business days. At this point, I also have a second and very important announcement. Last year, for those joining us for the third year, in which SBS Librerías and SBS Educación and Ricardo Palma University have worked very hard in creating and designing this set of training sessions. If you guys remember, last year we gave one full scholarship for the program. The specialization program is starting in June, and the university made a decision that instead of providing only one person with this wonderful benefit, we would like to invite 8 people to have not a full scholarship, but a partial or half scholarship, which can be explained in detail to the first 8 people or 8 attendees that contact us in the mail that we will show at the end. This is a benefit that we share with SBS in an effort to provide teachers of English with all the possibilities to shine in the ELT area. So we hope you make use of this benefit. It's going to be given to 8 teachers, and at the very end, Mr. Schwarzemberg will also mention it. So if you are, you will make use, if you make use of this benefit, we hope to see you at the university. At this point, I would like to invite you to warm Mr. Simon Schwarzemberg. And I would like to read his biodata. Mr. Schwarzemberg is a graduate from the English teaching program for primary and secondary education at Andrés Bello University in Chile. He furthered his studies abroad by completing an academic English course at Brigham Young University in Utah, the US. In 2019, he moved back to Peru to pursue the specialization program in English language teaching at Ricardo Palma University. He has completed a master's degree in higher education at Ricardo Palma University and holds international certifications such as the CAE, the TOEFL ITP, the MET from Michigan University, the TKT from Cambridge, and many more. Currently, Simon works as an academic support at the Language Center And more importantly, he's part of the teaching staff at the specialization program. So without further ado, I would like you all to welcome from your homes with an applause that I can hear up to here, Mr. Simon Schwarzemberg. Hello, Simon.
Hello. Thank you very much, Monica, for the lovely introduction. Thank you, everyone, so much for joining us today and jumping in. Before we start, I just want to say that you can feel free to use the chat box, leave your comments, share some of your experiences, and in the use of digital technology in offline classes. I will ask for your participation during the conference. And well, I'm stoked to be here today, and special because we'll talk about this highly important topic, which is digital tools in offline or digital resources in offline education, um, which is a topic that we here at the Language Center have talked about for a while now, and it's a great opportunity to speak about it today. So let me get started with my PowerPoint presentation. Um, mm, 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 mm. There you go. So, the aims of today's session are to basically examine recent global trends on the use of digital technology in the English classroom. And then, after we have all this knowledge, we're going to implement it appropriately in offline environments. So, I'll be reading the comments. There's a slight delay in the transmission. However, I will give you some time to provide your ideas so we can interact and have fun. And because we will have the trends, we are going to implement it. So previously, on our previous online conference, we've had two conferences since the last time we saw each other. One that was face-to-face last month, and well, 2 months ago, we had a conference about digital competence for educators. And we reviewed some frameworks related to the topic. So if you'd like to identify how digitally competent you are, you can fill in the survey. You can maybe go back to the video, like pause the video, scan the QR code, and complete the survey. This survey is from the European Union, which is the entity that created the framework, the Digicomp Edu we talked about 2 months ago. So this is kind of the second part of the digital technology conferences. And with this survey, maybe you can invite your communities to and other fellow teachers to start a conversation about this very important topic. Now, our topic is offline education, but we also have online education. So I'd like to know first, do you currently teach online classes or offline classes? Let's say face-to-face. Maybe you can write on the chat so I can have an idea of what the public are doing, what you guys are doing at your schools, institutions, universities, language centers, etc. Okay, both. People say both. Natalie, both. Okay, Ernesto, both. Lupe, both. Very good. Excellent. And did you teach? Okay, that's my second question. Did you teach online classes before the pandemic? I've talked to some of my friends who are teachers, and not a lot of them taught virtually or remotely. Okay, very good. Yes, I did, says Marisol. Excellent. Very good. Not before. All right. So online classes, no. All right. That's excellent. Now, I don't want to talk about the pandemic itself, but most of the teachers that I know switched to online classes because of the pandemic and not before. I know a few. I had classes, online classes before the pandemic, but they were through Skype, which I don't know if it still exists. But yeah, well, let's begin by asking ourselves something simple, but very powerful. What exactly do we mean by online and offline education? Maybe you can give me some ideas of or the differences how do you understand those two concepts? And because surprisingly, there was a lot of misconceptions around these two terms. And when we talk about no, okay. Oh, more people are commenting. We have hybrid classes now online for a long time, offline. Okay, yes, very good. So maybe we can start talking about those two differences. When we talk about online education or online classes, we think about flexibility. It's all about learning through digital technology, for instance, a laptop, a computer, hopefully not a phone, which could happen, right? Not ideally. And from any location, which is great, right? And as long as you have a device and internet connection with you. It's great for students who need flexibility or don't have a lot of time to move from one location to another, or for those who can't attend traditional classes. But it also demands a lot of discipline, time management, good connectivity, and let's be honest, not all of the students have that. Now, I am not going to talk about which one is better. Of course, they the both of them have pros and cons, and ultimately it's up to you to decide. When we talk about offline education, is what many of us grew up with, right? We call them face-to-face lessons, classroom-based, clases presenciales. Why not? Workshops, and it's all about human interaction. It's where teachers can read the room, when you see the students' faces, the students' gestures, you can adjust your class based on the students' expressions. You can build connections. You can walk around the class. And it's what all of us did here before the pandemic. So here's the key, right? Offline education doesn't mean no technology at all. It means technology isn't the focus. Learning is the focus. So offline education can, when done right, embraces technology without being dependent on it. It's about intentional use. It's about using tools and resources when they serve a purpose and knowing when to set them aside. Now, I have a lot of comments there. All my classes are virtual. I prefer offline. In online sessions, learners don't pay attention. Yeah, it's hard, right? We are going to talk about the pros and cons of both of them. Now, if we've been teaching both online and offline with technology, you've probably heard about these terms, these acronyms. So one might wonder, how did we even get here, right, to teaching online now? So do you recognize these acronyms? Maybe if you do, you can put them in the chat. If you know others, please go ahead and write them down, and maybe we can talk about them as well. So do you recognize these acronyms? Yes, I do, says Marisol. Excellent. All right. Which ones, Marisol? I'll give you 1 minute so you can give me some ideas. LMS, LLM, and call. Okay. All right, that's good. That's excellent. I want to like the comment, but I can't. All right. So we are going to talk about them now. And we're actually going to put them in a timeline so we can learning management systems. Exactly. LMS. Do you guys work with LMS? Okay, Karen says that she can identify LMS, AI, ICT, TEL. Great. Any other person? Okay. Tomorrow is going to be the first time teaching online. Excellent. Yeah, it's a new opportunity, right? So let's break them down. LLM, says Anna. Excellent, Anna. So over here, I put what these acronyms stand for. We have computer assisted language learning, right? Which is basically the early use of computers for practice and drills, etc. We have computer mediated communication, learning management systems. Someone said it on the chat. Mobile assisted language learning, technology enhanced language learning, ICT, right? Very popular. In Spanish, TIC, right? Information and communication technology. We have the SAMR model. That's a model that from the substitution, augmentation, modification, and redefinition. And of course, AI, artificial intelligence. So all of them reflect how technology has been integrated, sometimes slowly, sometimes in a rush, when the pandemic happened, for example, into language education. And from the early days of call, when we used CDs for grammar drills, to the mobile assisted language learning, where students use their phones for podcasts, for example, it's not just about using them because they exist, right? It's about asking ourselves, what is it for, right? When is the best time in my class, during my class, to use this, right? How deeply is it changing the way we teach or the way our students learn? So maybe we can unpack this timeline over here. This is a timeline I created and I show in the module, right? I teach the module on digital teaching and learning in ELT in a digital era. So this timeline didn't, technology just didn't appear in education during the pandemic, right? We've actually been building this relationship with technology in ELT for decades now. And it's been slowly, it's been in waves. So let me walk you through a quick timeline of how these frameworks in English language teaching have evolved over time, especially in relation to technology, right? So we have, for example, we start with CALL, with the computer-assisted language learning, with the CDs and grammar softwares. After that, we go to CMC, where the computer was not just, oh look, I have a CD, I'm going to use it, but more of a communication, right? It was used to communicate, right? To write emails, chat rooms, forums, those very famous pen pals, right? When you write to your friends in the States or in Canada, in a English-speaking country. And after that, we started with the ICT as a term, like it's a big term, and became a broader umbrella, right? Bringing technology into like general educational settings. After that, we have the phones. We have how technology can enhance the language process and encourage the use of videos, the use of games, web tools, apps, LMS, right? Learning management systems. We have open source, closed source, like Moodle, Blackboard, Canva. And then we have, for example, I don't know, if you work with National Geographic Learning, you probably use Spark, right? Where everything is included there. So it's all there. Sometimes it's in our daily life and we don't even know. And then we have artificial intelligence, right? From personalized feedback to content generation. And it's been a boom, right? It's everywhere now. And we'll tackle that in a bit. So do you use digital technology in class? Maybe you can take a second and write in the chat if you use digital technology and how. Okay. Oh, I'll take a look at the comments in the meantime. Offline allows me to get a more direct approach and interaction with students. Absolutely, I agree. Couldn't agree more, says Anna. Excellent. Cool. A lot, says Rosario. So Rosario uses digital technology a lot. I use Spark. Yay, we have National Geographic users here. Excellent. Excellent. All right. So here's the real question. And I want you to be honest with yourself. I want you to be honest with me too. When you use these tools, do you stop and ask yourself, why am I using this? What for? Does this actually help my students learn better? Or is it just for fun, right? Because if let's pause a bit and think about our classrooms. Most of us are using technology. We're either using for showing a video, maybe you have your PowerPoint presentation, Google Slides. Well, I prefer Google Slides. Maybe Kahoot. We often hear that technology engages students, right? And we want to engage the students. But we do not just want to engage our students, we want them to truly learn. And sometimes technology is a distraction. Sometimes technology is a distraction dressed up as innovation. And it's like this saying that all glitters is not gold, something like that. So as a part of my job as an academic support at the Language Center, I observe classes, face-to-face lessons, online lessons. And I remember when I observed a teacher a few years ago, maybe 2 years ago. She used Kahoot in the face-to-face class. So she used it in that class, and then I observed her again, and she used it again, and then again. So it was something that she was doing it, systematically, I would say. So at first, the students were excited. But after a few weeks, I noticed that she used Kahoot all the time, and students were basically rolling their eyes. They were, looking at each other, and there was not an element of surprise anymore. No variation, no real challenge. So what's worse is that the tool that was meant to engage them was now forcing them to pull out their phones in every session. And we know what happens when they do that, right? They get distracted by notifications. I get distracted by notifications. Right now I'm looking at my phone, and my phone is like, backwards, because otherwise I'm going to be looking at my notifications. And all of this made me think, was Kahoot actually helping them learn English, or just filling the time? Just because it looks cute, just because it was, at that time, like, wow, this is such an innovative, platform, website. So we have to think about that when we use those tools. Okay, I use some digital technology, but also old school materials. Okay, so there's a mix. I'm looking at my comments. How and when to use it exactly? Yes, more National Geographic users. Excellent. Very good. Excellent, excellent, guys. So now, after everything we've said so far, let's be clear. I'm not saying technology is bad. It's excellent. I use it in my classes. I'm saying it has to be used with intention. So even in offline classes, it can be a powerful ally. So let's take a look at some benefits when it's used well, especially in low-tech or hybrid environments where Wi-Fi might not be stable, right? But we still want to add some value to our class. We know that using those digital technology can foster collaboration. Do you have digital whiteboards in your class? Sometimes students can actually co-create content. I don't know if they share a Google document, and they can share at the same time, and you can see what they're doing and where in the document. So it encourages peer interaction and cooperative learning. It develops digital literacy. That is very important, and we're also going to talk a little bit more about that in depth, because students can responsibly search information, use the information, navigating the tools correctly, organizing files, and interpreting digital content, which is something that we do almost automatically, but we need to do it well. Digital technology supports visual and auditory learners as well, right? It can enrich instruction with images, with animations, recorded input. It can boost engagement, right? Those strategic videos, sound effects, something out of the box, interactive games, etc. We can expand exposure to authentic language as well. If you show a video, for example, students will be exposed to real life scenarios, real life situations, and there's so many examples all over the world, basically. So offline doesn't mean outdated, right? You as a teacher can bring in real world language samples. It breaks the routine sometimes. So digital tools offer variety, and a lesson that includes maybe a short quiz, a game, a projected video, or a digital storytelling, that adds value and diversity to the class. And of course, it can help teachers with feedback. You can track record if you're using an LMS, or you can give more precise feedback. You can support your reflective learning or their reflective learning. So it's a whole. Um, there's no audio. Oh, okay. Yes. Now there are some risks though, and using too much digital technology. So what happens here? Over dependence on technology. So when we rely on technology too much, it can reduce sometimes the teacher-student interaction or limit the student's practice, which is of course not ideal. Sometimes it can, we can lose this pedagogical purpose. So is technology just used because it's there, or is there a real purpose behind it? If we use the phones during the offline lesson or the face-to-face lesson, we are going to increase the screen time. And this frequent exposure to screens can cause fatigue, reduce the attention span, and they can lower the students' motivations, especially among young learners or younger learners. But I would say all of them, right? Now, equity and access issues. Not all the students have the same familiarity with tech tools. Some of them are a bit more techy than others, and that's okay, but there are gaps sometimes. Now, classroom management challenges. Using your phone or any other devices, if you go to a lab and all of them are using a computer, it's going to be chaotic. So it can lead to distractions, off-task behavior, or difficulties in maintaining focus. That could happen. And of course, the last one, and I think that's one of my nightmares. Sometimes I dream about that I go to my class and there's no connection, so I cannot use my PowerPoint. So offline tools still depend on electricity, projectors, speakers, softwares. Do you have a plan B? What's going to happen if you don't have electricity that day at school, or if you can't use your projector? So yeah, that's a big issue. We need to have a plan B. Now, did you notice the picture? I created that picture using AI. Did you question my picture selection or not? It went over your head. Well, those things we need to be aware of, because sometimes we can use pictures and you just look at it, but you don't question it. So yes, this is AI. That teacher is not real. Yes, extra battery for as a plan B. Very good. Now, let's take a look at this example. Let's take a look at it, and I'm going to tell you what I did. So this is ChatGPT. I asked ChatGPT to write a paragraph about about the last vacation for an A1 or A2 level student. I don't remember. And look at this. That's what ChatGPT did. An excellent paragraph, right? It looks good, right? It's well structured, error free, and sounds just like something a student might write, like a very, very good student would write. But here's the real question. Let's imagine the student gives you this. What do? Knowing that the student used ChatGPT, am I supposed to assess that or not? If a student submits this and doesn't mention it, that it was AI generated, how do we know it reflects their actual ability, like their grammar? Let me play that again. Their grammar, the vocabulary range, like, do we know that? We don't. So this brings us to a big challenge. Are we still assessing language ability, or are we just assessing the use of ChatGPT, right? So again, we've just seen a paragraph that sounds like a solid student writing, but it was generated by AI in seconds. And if the work is clean, correct, and on topic, but wasn't actually written by the student, right? Can we still evaluate it fairly? I was talking to a teacher the other day, and the teacher told me that she sent like a writing task, a writing activity, a writing assignment, and some of the students, sent an AI generated material. So she said that she was not going to evaluate it, and I said, "Wow, I haven't thought about that, because of course it's what am I going to evaluate? It's not even the students' ideas." So am I supposed to evaluate their prompting, their ethics, whether we ask them if they're using ChatGPT or not? Some are, and some use it to check grammar. Some of them, to rewrite their work, and others, just copy paste it. So we need to be careful with that. Do you know what you're doing if the student gives, an AI generated writing piece? So we need to be an oral test. Okay, very good. I will tell you what we decided to do at the Language Center in just a minute. So when I was doing this, I said, okay, what about plagiarism? Is AI writing plagiarism? So when a student submits an AI generated content, it is not based on their understanding or their reasoning or their effort, right? Because the AI is doing everything. The AI has synthesized the idea, the argument, the structure, everything. So academic integrity relies on ownership of ideas. So plagiarism isn't just about copying the text, but about claiming work that you didn't create, right? So it's like copying it and say, look, this is mine. So is it plagiarism? I'd say yes, but actually no, because the text was stolen from another person. But because it's not truly their work, it's not their understanding or effort, it's not their intellectual product. So it's in between, right? Because it's not yours, but it's from the AI. Am I going to blame the AI? No. So let's remember, AI doesn't think or understand, the students do. So we need to be careful about that. Do your schools or institutions, language centers, universities have a policy about this? Maybe you can tell me in the comments what you think about that. Okay, I'm gonna pause and I'm gonna read some of the comments on the chat. Someone says that I evaluate in class. Evaluating in class is the best way, right, to see the students' true progress. We can evaluate comparing with previous work or progress. Absolutely, yes. Maybe having like a journal, or like a folder, a file where students can put their real work. Go through Turnitin. Yes, that's excellent. as long as your Turnitin can detect AI. Very good on it. It's in progress. I work at a school and we evaluate in class. That's excellent. Use write and improve to make them handwrite all the time. Handwriting. Yes. We'll talk about that in a minute, actually. Now, this is the second case. So just like ChatGPT is an example of generative AI for text, there are also tools that generate video. And we are going to take a look at HeyGen. HeyGen is a video generator, and it uses AI to create realistic avatars or just like dub their voices, voiceovers from simple text or prompts. So this is a short video I created. This is the original video of me reading the abstract for today's conference. And let's take a look at the video. Let's watch just a piece of it. In today's hyper-connected world and with the rapid rise of AI, it's easy to assume that all teaching must involve digital tools. But is it truly necessary to use them in every single lesson, even when they may not be needed? This session explores the often overlooked but essential reality of offline English teaching. While digital tools offer undeniable benefits, recent shifts in global educational trends. All right. So here's the text. The volume was not really loud. I don't know what happened. Um, what I did with the video is I put this video on HeyGen, and the video in HeyGen was what it did is ask me what I wanted to do with the video. So I just wanted to like translate the video or dub the video to with a different language, right? So this is one powerful feature of HeyGen. Of course, it has many other features, right? It's the ability to choose the language that you can even choose an avatar. An avatar is like a random person saying what you want them to say. So if you don't want to say it, maybe an avatar can do it for you. Now, I could make the same video in Spanish, in French, in German, Danish, you name it. You name it. I mean, not actually. We don't have all of the languages yet. It depends on the voice options available, as you can see there in the in the image. So what I did was to try it. I wanted to see how if I'm going to be impressed or not. So, does anyone speak French here or not? I don't speak French. All right, maybe we can take a look at this video. It's the same video of me reading the abstract, but now in French. So let's watch.
Dans le monde hyper connecté d'aujourd'hui et avec l'essor rapide de l'IA, il est facile de penser que tout enseignement doit nécessairement inclure des outils numériques. Mais est-il vraiment...
Now, because it's my voice, it made me feel some type of way. So I decided to go to Spanish. Let's see if I sound the same in Spanish, with a voiceover. So, well, you haven't heard me speaking Spanish yet, but let's watch it.
En el mundo hiperconectado de hoy y con el rápido auge de la inteligencia artificial, es fácil asumir que toda enseñanza debe involucrar herramientas digitales. Pero ¿realmente es necesario usarlas en cada lección?
Now, this voice is AI generated, of course. This is not me speaking. And the system has synthesized my speech and adjusted my lip movement to match the new language. So it's impressive, but it's also a little bit scary, isn't it? So now, if you're going to ask your students to send you a 1-minute video about their last vacation, think about this, right? They could be doing this, right? And it's crazy because they use my same pitch, like intonation. It's amazing. I don't know. I was wowed. Yeah, it is not my voice, but it's almost my voice. It's hard to explain, but yes, it's a bit crazy.
Dans le monde hyper connecté
So,
d'aujourd'hui, en el mundo y avec l'essor rapide de hoy.
Now, let me pause for a minute. If you're wondering where to go deeper into all of this, everything we've talked about so far, and well, much more that we're going to talk about, is explored in detail in the Programa de Especialización en Enseñanza del Idioma Inglés. You see, I'm speaking Spanish now. In this specialization program for English language teachers, in the program, we don't just look at digital tools. Well, it's one module about it, completely over a month talking about this. Very, very interesting. And well, we talk about this more in depth. We start in June. So if you have any questions, you can, write to us. We have here the email and the phone number. And we have surprises at the end. So if you stay until the end, you might participate in a surprise. Now, we were talking about digital tools. We talked about ChatGPT. We talked about HeyGen. I read some of your comments that it's helpful, but also scary. Yes. It's a great program. Thank you, Pilar. Yes, it's a great program. I want to talk about now about the use of cell phones. And let's take a look at these headlines and videos on YouTube. If you notice the dates, there's something interesting going on. A few years ago, most of the conversation was around how we should use phones in schools. Questions like, should we allow students to use them? Can they support learning? And now we've moved from questioning their use to banning the use of the phones altogether in many schools around the world. So this reflects growing concerns about distraction, behavior issues, mental health, and of course, learning outcomes. Over here, we have a video. Maybe we can watch this video about a school ban, a school that bans cell phone use during classes. So let's take a look at that. Let's watch the video.
Everywhere you look, kids are on their cell phones, but now there's growing pressure to ban them in schools.
It's for the benefit of students.
Brockton, Massachusetts high school principal Kevin McCaskill is getting a shipment of 3,700 pouches, one for each of his students to lock their cell phones in during the school day.
Why is it a good idea for kids to put their cell phones away while they're in school?
We can get the focus back on education as opposed to a student's social media feeds, text messages from other students, or even sometimes their parents saying, what do you want for dinner?
At least 7 of the nation's largest school districts have rules against using cell phones during the school day, including bans in Los Angeles, Cleveland, and Orange County, Florida. 4 states have enacted statewide cell phone restrictions: Florida, Louisiana, Virginia, and South Carolina. California and New York State could soon join that list. While not all parents are on board, the shift comes as research shows phone-free schools can reduce distractions and cyberbullying, enhance focus on learning, and improve student well-being. Today, the Surgeon General warning, parents face additional stress managing their children's phone use.
Many parents are struggling with tech and social media. Those are the number 1 and 2, causes of stress that parents cite when they talk about parenting being harder now compared to a generation ago.
Grace Catella, an 8th grader in Framingham, welcomes her school's restrictions.
You need to see the big picture and see how it really, how it helps you learn and how it helps the school.
Her mother, Jennifer, believes it reduces anxiety and encourages socialization.
The students are more engaged with each other at recess. They're actually talking to each other. They're doing activities rather than kind of going into their own circle and going onto their phone.
Some families are concerned about not being able to reach their child during school hours for safety and health reasons. Administrators, however, encourage families to call the school office. Tom?
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and...
Very good. So there are some benefits about this cell phone ban. Now, please don't think I'm telling you to do that in your schools, in your institutions. Let's start a phone ban. In another conference, someone told me that I said X and then I didn't say that. But yeah, don't think I'm pushing you to a ban of phones. I'm not asking you to do that, but I am inviting you to reflect on how they use their phones in class, if they're using it. Now, there are some benefits of this cell phone ban, right? Students can focus on learning. They're less tempted to check messages or scroll through social media. We can also reduce distractions. We can minimize distractions. Notifications are very distracting. We can reduce cyberbullying. They mentioned cyberbullying as well. So limiting phone uses. The phone use means fewer opportunities as well. They can improve students, or that can improve students' well-being. So less screen times has been linked to better sleep, to lower anxiety, and of course, healthier peer relationships. And then encourage this interaction. Without screens, students are, we kind of push them or force them to interact, to collaborate, and to build social emotional skills, which are so important now. Now, in the video, they showed this yonder pouch, which is what the students put. They put their cell phones there, and they lock it, and then they carry it everywhere. They carry it everywhere, and then at the end of the lesson, at the end of school day, they can open it, and it opens with one of those things that they use I don't know, at the supermarket when you buy clothes, right? Something like that. So I thought it was actually really, really interesting. Now, there are some cases, not only in the US, we have a case in Sweden. The Ministry of Education announced a national shift away from digital devices in early education. Why? Because they noticed that the declining reading skills in students, despite this Sweden's above average international rankings. So they were lowering their rankings, and they said, we have to do something here. And so the government now plans to ban mandatory digital learning in preschools, invest over 90 million US dollars in printed textbooks. So printed textbooks are really, really important. If you have it in your phone, then you get distracted. So having the printed version is the best option. And promote handwriting and printed reading in early grades specifically, or especially, right? Now, we also have a case of schools in Chile this year. Several schools in Chile are seeing clear benefits from limiting cell phone use during the school day. They have had a positive, impact, and they said that they have noticed 45% of the post-pandemic disciplinary issues were linked to misuse of phones and social media. They also introduced this super recess where they could walk, they could check their social media and then go back to the class. And they introduced initiatives like, more extracurricular activities. They have included more sports and all that. And of course, in Peru in 2025, they will regulate cell phone use in schools to improve learning. They will launch an awareness campaign to regulate the phone use. And the Ministry of Education they're working on it. Teachers will also receive training, which is great. But cell phones won't be banned completely. Students will still be able to use them during breaks or for health-related needs, or if they need to communicate with parents. Of course, in that case, they are going to be a little bit more flexible. So, does your institution have a cell phone policy? What do you guys think? What do you guys know? Do you know? Have you asked? Is it Is it something you talk about with your fellow teachers? So yes, we do, Marisol. Okay, that's excellent. If you can expand on that, that would be awesome. Now, so maybe we can reflect here because the use of cell phones in class. What about if you have a policy about the use of cell phones? What about the use of AI? Do you have a policy about that? The integration of digital technology in lessons. Not at university, says Marisol. Anna says yes, they're banned. Yes, you need to ask for permission if we want to use them in classes, Karen. That's excellent. Yeah, very good. So if you're aware of any tech-related policies, you can just write them down, and I'll be happy to see it here. So what can we do? At our Language Center, we have made a clear decision to go back to written, to paper-based exams. So let's be clear. This is not about going backwards. It's not a rejection of technology. It's not that we're against it. It's about ensuring that the students truly learn, that they can think, that they can organize their ideas without the use of ChatGPT, that they can express themselves independently without relying on the screen. And in today's world, where tools like ChatGPT can generate full paragraphs in seconds, we need authentic assessment spaces. So that's why we've decided to do that. Because our classes are hybrid, right? We have some of them are face-to-face, and then some of them are offline, face-to-face, or workshops, right? Now, when I was doing this conference, I found this, that back in 1986, a small group of math teachers actually protested outside the National Council of Teachers of Mathematics because they were worried about the using of calculators. So I saw that and I said, wow, is this happening again? But now with AI. So it sparked a big debate at the time. And I think AI has sparked a new debate now around it. So we're here again, just with newer tools, different tools. So because we're talking about, and we've talked about AI and we've talked about ChatGPT, maybe we can talk about artificial intelligence. So what is artificial intelligence? Using your own words. It's a pop quiz. What is artificial intelligence? After that, I'll show you the video, but I want to hear you first. Any ideas? Yeah, the pop quiz. Okay, maybe I can give you my very own definition. Is a tool, says Yerika here, teacher. It is a tool. Yes, it's a tool that we can use, that students can use. So I put here that in simple terms, artificial intelligence is the ability of a machine or system to perform tasks that normally require human intelligence, right? This includes tasks such as learning from experience, recognizing patterns, making decisions, solving problems, etc. More people are trained models that serve a purpose. Cell phones is, very good. So maybe we can watch this short video.
You've probably heard a lot about AI recently, but what is it, really? AI, or artificial intelligence, is when we teach computers how to do things that usually require human intelligence, like identifying an object, understanding human speech, and even talking. But how do you teach a computer to learn and think? Well, it's kind of like when you train a pet to do tricks. Think of AI as a robot dog that you're training to fetch a toy. At first, your robot dog might not even know what a dog toy is, so that's the first thing you need to teach it. You show it lots of pictures of dog toys so that it learns to recognize them quickly and easily. It might make some mistakes at first, but with each correct answer, it gets a reward. Over time, the dog's recognition improves, the same way you improve at any task the more you do it. And once the robot dog gets really good at recognizing what a dog toy is, you can move on to teaching it the next step of playing fetch, running after the toy and bringing it back to you. This is basic AI, which learns by analyzing lots of data. In this case, pictures of dog toys and how to play fetch. But
there's more, and we'll talk about it in a minute.
Something
now, let's take a look at some of these examples. Are these examples of artificial intelligence? What about an Excel sheet, Google Forms, Spark? If you know Spark, you've seen that. Or maybe your students have. That's what the assignments look like. Marisol says no. If this is not artificial intelligence, what is it? Right? What are they? Any ideas? You can use the chat box. They're softwares. Yes, coding. All right. Let's take a look at this. What you saw there is automation, right? Automation is basically the efficient execution of a repetitive task, right? Like Excel or Forms or, this Spark platform. It's not thinking, it's not solving problems, right? It's just, set to do something specific. So automation focuses on this efficient execution of repetitive tasks, and it follows predefined rules, while artificial intelligence goes further, right? It develops systems capable of learning, reasoning, making data-driven decisions. So they're different, right? And sometimes they are you're like, oh, this is not artificial intelligence, but I don't know what that is, right? Well, you know now. It's automation. Now, we don't notice it, but it's everywhere. Or maybe you have noticed. But every time you go to you're going to use a taxi app, like Uber, for example, and it recommends your home, an address. It's like they know where you're going to go. Or when you use Hey Siri, right? If you have a phone, an iPhone. When you go to your email and then you...
Okay, I found this on the web for if you have an iPhone.
My Hey Siri just activated. Or when you go to... Okay. Or when you go to your email and you start writing emails to certain people, and then another person pops up and is like, maybe that person is inside this group because you always send them together, right? Those suggestions. That's also AI. Or Netflix, when you watch Netflix and Netflix recommends what to watch next based on your viewing habits. So yeah, these systems are using AI quietly, right? In the background, personalizing your experience for a better experience, right? Predicting, suggesting, adapting, all without you asking, right? It does it all by itself. Now, here's the difference between this classic AI and generative AI. So there's a fine line between classic AI and generative AI. So when we talk about classic AI, we talk about, something that is based on algorithm, logic, structured decision making, right? For example, spam filters, what your Gmail or your mail does, right? Recommendations, self-driving cars, or this self-driving car logic, and it operates within clearly defined rules, right? It doesn't go all out. It's just, it has parameters, and it's trained to diagnose diseases, optimize systems, and follow precise tasks. While generative AI is based on creativity, pattern recognition, and probabilistic modeling, right? Because it's, makes predictions. For example, AI generated texts, images, voices, like, Hey Jen, cloning, chatbots, etc. And it operates on a large scale data. We talked at the beginning about the large language models, right? Where we give a lot of, input and a lot of, information. And it's trained to generate essays, art, music, and simulate conversation. Right? You can have a conversation with ChatGPT or with any AI powered text, right? Like Gemini, or there are more. There are lots of it. So basically, classic AI is structured, it's logical, it's rule-based. And Gen AI is creative, it's unpredictable, and it's data-driven. You can basically have a chat with ChatGPT when you're bored. And because it's been a boom and it's everywhere, UNESCO has recently developed AI competency frameworks, and one for teachers and one for students. So the goal here is to help both groups understand how to use AI tools critically and ethically and effectively, because it's something that's been present and it's going to keep being present. It's going to stay, right? It's going to stay here. It's not a trend anymore. It's a reality. And this competency has some aspects, right? The human-centered mindset, the AI for professional development, AI pedagogy, AI foundations and apps, and ethics of AI, which I think it's very, very important, right? So it's important to know that there are efforts from international organizations to kind of bring this as a wake up call and say, okay, this is happening, we need to take action. So how can we use AI in our teaching practice? I usually say that I use it for inspiration. The truth is that many of us are already using it, maybe not during the lesson, but around it. When I teach, for example, and sometimes I'm running out of ideas for a warm-up, I say, okay, what can I do for a warm-up, right? It gives me a list of options, and some of them I like, some of them I don't. And I select from that. So for instance, some teachers use it to generate quizzes, questions. You can brainstorm, warm-up tasks, even check worksheets. So you can use it for assessment design, for feedback, outside of the classroom, etc. There's so many different ways in which you can use AI, evaluating sample answers, checking grammar or phrasing, correcting an essay, correcting a paper, etc. For planning, especially for planning. Okay, I'm taking a look at some of the, yes, Karen, planning. I like that. It gives a lot of good ideas, but we need to be critical when we use it. Now, there is one app that it's A powered, and it's Conquer AI. Do you know Conquer AI? And why do I like Conquer AI is because you can create quizzes. But when you use, for example, ChatGPT and you create a quiz, the quiz stays there. If you use the Conquer AI can actually create a Google Forms for you. So what I do is I just go there, I just select the subject because, this can work for biology, for chemistry, etc. After that, I select the number of questions, the question type, multiple choice or true or false, etc., the grade level, the language. And after that, you have to input the reading material. So it's going to be about what? And you can just put it there. And after that, you generate it. Over there at the top, you can see the button where it says generate. You generate it, and then you get the questions, right? You can review the questions. I generated 5 questions, right? But you can generate more. And then you get the answer. You can see the answer, the right answer. You can validate the answer with Google search even. And when you click share, you can copy the link. Students can use Conquer AI to answer it, or you can select the forms. So it's amazing in case you have quizzes that are online. This is great. So there's so many more apps or websites that are AI powered, and we need to take advantage of it, right? We're not against it, right? We just need to know how to use it properly. Now, we can also identify live text, and live text allows you to select and copy, paste text, recognize text in photos, etc. So let's imagine my student gave me this, right? This piece of paper, and I have to check it. You can actually use it for, actually AI can do it for you, right? So with live text, what you do is you can select it. My computer does it automatically when I open it. The phones also use it now. They have this live text thing. You can actually copy it and then paste it. Take a look at that. I didn't write it. The AI did it for me, right? So it's excellent. That would help you give feedback or just to have it in a PowerPoint presentation organized in a nice manner. You can use that live text. So there's so many different tools that we can use as teachers that serve, of course, different purposes. Now, we need to be careful about that. Why? I'm going to show you this video. Maybe you've seen it before. Let's start with this. Now, these videos are viral now, and they're everywhere. So the first time I saw it, I was looking at it for like a while, because it looks very real. But of course, I know a cat is not gonna do that. I have 2 cats, and my cats are not gonna do that. So look, here's another one.
Angela Carter here, live from the Cedar Grove flood disaster. Just kidding, I'm not real. This is Dana Brooks reporting live from Ocean View Beach. Just kidding, I'm not real. This is Charlotte Reed reporting live from Clearwater Beach, where an unidentified... Just kidding, I'm not real.
So when we take a look at that, sometimes you have to wonder, and you have to be critical. Is this true? Is this real? Especially now, because AI is everywhere. People have started this passion for creating fake news, false information. So it could be dangerous. The other day, I showed my mother something that it was a dog. It was a dog that was in my bed, and she was like, "Why is the dog in your bed?" And I was like, "Mom, I don't even have a dog. That dog is is AI." So yes, it's it's something we need to consider now.
Angela.
So, and here's why the importance of multiple literacies. Multiple literacies, especially digital literacy, right? But of course, all of them are important. But for the purpose of this conference, we're going to focus on digital literacy, and I really love the word literate, right, in English, because it doesn't just mean being able to read and write. It means being aware, being competent, being empowered, and in today's world, being literate means being able to navigate digital tools. Evaluate information, spot missing information or misinformation, or AI-generated content, communicate effectively in multiple formats, text, video, voice, memes, etc. And we've had a couple of conferences about multiple literacies at the university, because we care about this very interesting topic to us. And yeah, yes, we need to be more critical. I'm taking a look at the comments. So as educators, our job isn't just to teach English. It's to teach students how to live, how to learn, and how to think critically in a world shaped by technology, because everything communicates, right? Images communicate. The way someone uses words, it communicates. Gestures communicate. Everything. So we need to be able to kind of spot those things and put them into practice. Now, let's watch out, because in everyday life, or maybe when you're surfing the internet, sometimes we don't take a look or pause for things and think about, or we start criticizing things, right? Especially when we're not at work, or and you're just having fun watching TikTok or reels on Instagram, Facebook. So we have, for example, spam filters. Every time I read something now, an article or a piece of news, I took this from a piece of news. It says this article is more than a year ago. So it's letting me know that this might be too old. It's not recent. It may have changed. The same happens when you receive a forwarded message or video or image on WhatsApp, and you get this alert that says that it has been forwarded many times. So we need to be careful with that. The same on social media, right? Sometimes over here it says false information, see why, see post, fast check, see why fast checkers say this is why fast checkers say this is false. This is not mine. I took it from the internet. So yeah, it's now we need to be more critical than ever. And well, we're going towards the end of the session. So basically, just to wrap up what we've talked about today, here are some of my final thoughts. So in-person interaction and emotional connection, they remain vital in language learning, because technology can't replace a smile. Technology cannot replace a gesture, right? Or a teacher's presence. So digital tools can enrich offline classes, especially when they used it with a clear purpose, with creativity, and not just for the sake of using tech. The same with the story of the teacher that used Kahoot, right? We need to be conscious of why we're using it. Are the students going to like it? Everything used too many times is going to bore the students. So of course we don't want that. Overuse can lead to disengagement, dependency, or distractions, right? So too much tech in this case, or the wrong kind of technology, digital technology. Let's remember that everything is technology. So we're talking about digital technology. Or the wrong kind can lead to, disengagement. We don't want the students to disengage. We know that they have a short attention span, so we want to keep them engaged, but in a way that they can, fulfill our pedagogical goals. And of course, we don't want distractions in our class. So we are going to avoid the cell phones in the class. Do you avoid cell phones in class? Some of you said yes in the past, but now we have more people. So I don't know if they share their comments with us as well. Now, AI should support, not replace, pedagogy. Teachers must lead with educational goals and not trends. So not because something is trendy, not because something is shiny, we're going to start using it, right? As long as we have a goal, we're going to use it. We are the ones who decide. We are the ones who decide why and how, and not the algorithm, right? So I'm going to fight against the algorithm, and I'm going to do things because I know that's the right way of doing it. Global trends show a push for balance. So around the world now, there's a clear push for a balance, a thoughtful, a responsible use of technology in education. We saw it with the framework for AI, which is really, really interesting now. What I can do, because we're going to send you guys a summary of my slides. So over there, maybe I can put the QR code so you can take a look at the readings and maybe take a look at the articles that I included in the presentation. So you can have it and then take a look at it. And if you want to go back, you can read them. They are current. Some of them are maybe a 1 year old, but it's still reliable. You can still trust it. So yeah, we decide, right, how and why, and not the algorithm, right? So we're gonna fight the algorithm on this. And finally, the teacher is irreplaceable. And we need to be very clear with this. We need to be very conscious that the teacher is irreplaceable. No app, no AI, no platform can replicate your ability to guide, to inspire, to connect with learners. So when they think that AI is going to maybe, steal my job, I still don't think so, right? And as Bill Gates said, technology is just a tool in terms of getting the kids working together and motivating them. The teacher is the most important. And well, that's exactly the message for today's presentation. Tools help, but it's the teachers who truly transform learning and transform the students' lives, right? So thank you very much for your participation. The contact information for me and the program, in case you're interested. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Simon, for a wonderful presentation on the world as it is today. We are very happy to learn about artificial intelligence, generative artificial intelligence, and all the topics you have very quickly covered in such a short period of time. I would like to mention that these topics are covered in depth in the module that precisely Mr. Schwarzemberg organizes as part of the program. The program is starting in June, and just like I mentioned at the beginning of the session, I think I had some problems with the audio. I hope everybody's hearing me clearly at this point. We are giving 8, I'm going to say the term in Spanish so that everybody can use the term when they talk to the administrative personnel, beca parcial. That is precisely what we are offering to 8 people, the first 8 people that contact us. During the session, we have added, yes, administratively, some items so that more people can benefit from learning about artificial intelligence and everything that entails being a teacher of English these days in the digital era, as you mentioned. And only tomorrow and the day after, that's Friday, all the interviews and exams for getting into the program are gonna be free. So we offer this in an attempt to help as many teachers as possible to be part of the program, and with that, to take the next step in their professional growth, to grow professionally with us, and with that, have an impact on Peruvians' education. I think there are no more questions. You covered some of them. We have the information here, and it is important to remind everybody that you need to fill out the form that is, I think it's still there. Yes, I can see it in the chat box on our YouTube platform. So please make sure that you enter all your data so that you can get the certificate. It will be issued in 10 working days. And together with that, you will get the certificate plus a summary, 10-slide summary. Thank you very much for joining us this lovely evening, and hope to see you on August 20th, which is the date in which we are going to get together again for the following session. That will be the 5th session, and I will be in charge of it. So hope to see you there through YouTube as well. Thank you very much, Simon, one more time. Congrats. And thank you, everybody. Keep on growing. Thank you to the SBS team at the backstage.